Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys all back to my channel, and today I am here with my June reads and my July TBR. It's a combined video again, which as you guys could tell, that means I did not read everything that I wanted to read. But this time, it really wasn't my fault. So normally if there's a book that comes out, say June 5th, like a lot of the books that I talked about in my anticipated books video that I'll link up here, they released June 5th. My library did not get them until last Friday. And for two of them, I wasn't the first person to request them. So I'm still waiting. I'm still on the waiting list for a couple of them. But I did pick up two of them. Actually, I bought one book because I was so annoyed that I just wanted something to read. So we'll talk about that for the July reads. But to make myself feel better, I should just talk about the books that I did read. However, you remember last month I kept saying that I wasn't sure if I was going to finish Cersei or not. I didn't finish Cersei. It is officially a DNF. Kind of like with Freshwater, where I was just so confused and just really like not interested in reading the book. Cersei was boring. It was very slow paced. I felt like even the action of the book was just dry. And most retellings I'm intrigued to see how they're going to tell a part of the story that I already know, if that makes sense. So I have no idea what happens at the end of Cersei. I never finished it, so I honestly don't care. The next book that I finished that I really, really enjoyed was Furyborn, and I know this is a BookTube talk about book, and it deserves its accolades. It was actually a really good story. The story is based on two different queens set in two different time periods where their lives are affected by each other, if that makes sense. There's a blood queen that will destroy the world, and then there is a sun queen who will save it. And honestly, I loved the back and forth stories between the two queens. I loved the explanations. It does have elemental magic in it, which of course, if it's going to be a fantasy, it has to have magic, and why not be elemental? Like, that was fantastic. Some of the trials were like a little Hunger Game-ish in my opinion, but not dystopian, just like weird and for what it was offering. I did start off reading this book, but I started finding myself really busy. So I went to the library and picked up the audiobook of it. The audiobook wasn't too bad at all. I think it's like 14 discs, but it goes by really, really fast. So that actually was very helpful. So to just continue the whole audiobook thing, I did not actually physically read a book this entire month. Everything that I read was listened to via audiobook, and I completed the entire Lunar Chronicles. If you guys remember, I read Cinder last month, and I thought the whole cyborg thing was weird. And yeah, at the end, it's still weird, but I loved it. So I guess we'll just go through each book. So after Cinder is Scarlet, which of course is like a very loose retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, but it connects Riding Hood to Cinder or Cinderella, and it's focused on a girl named Scarlet. Obviously, she has red hair, and she also wears a red hoodie. Her grandmother goes missing, and she's like determined to find her. Everybody thinks she's crazy. They're like, she ran away, leave her alone. And she ends up encountering this man whose name is Wolf, and their story unfolds. I don't really want to tell any spoilers or anything because it is a series, and I just feel like, Cinder was a great beginning, so just keep reading it. Everything stays connected. It's very, very nice. So after Scarlet, it is Cress, which is a space retelling sort of Rapunzel, which I must say, I actually enjoyed the way that they created Cress. again, she's very connected to the first book, Cinder, which I thought the author of the series did a really good job with the connections between everybody. But I especially like the way that they did Cinder, or Cress, because it was like, she's been in a tower. Cress is Rapunzel. She's been stuck in not a tower, but a satellite her whole life. So the story folds off from there, and I'm not giving any more details there. Then the next story was a short novella, so a 3.5, which was the story of Queen Lavanna, who is the main antagonist of this entire series. You're introduced to her in Cinder, and she's a beast. But in the novella, it tells the story of what happens before she becomes queen, before she tries to y'all heard that on the mic because I just hit the mic. But it tells the story of what happened to her and her sister, Queen Channery. And man, like, I feel like in a lot of fantasy stories, the evil villain always has like parent issues and love issues, of course. But I think I felt bad for Queen Lavanna for like 0.2 seconds, because I was like, I think she's like clinically crazy. So I don't know. I didn't feel sympathetic after reading the book. I forgot the name of Fairest. That is the name, because the next book is Winter, which is a retelling of Snow White, and Princess Winter's mother is Queen Lavanna, hence why her story was called The Fairest. So now we're focusing on book 4, which is the final book of the series. Winter, it focuses on pretty much everybody coming together. Specifically, I will say that the most interesting part of the series was the diversity in it. Like, it wasn't just cyborgs. It was cyborgs, Asians, French, Luna, which, from what I understand, Luna also comes with different races as well, because, Wolf is lunar, and he's dark skinned. Winter is lunar. Winter is a lunar princess, and she's described as dark skinned, but Jason, who's another character, he is a lunar, and he's described as blonde hair, blue eyed, fair skin. It's so many different like races and stuff thrown in. But Winter, like I was saying, Winter is a black chick. I know for a fact she's a black girl because they describe her hair, they describe her skin. She's a sister. Winter is, of course, beloved by all. She's kind, she's beautiful. But she also is a little crazy, and she's crazy because unlike her stepmother, Queen Lavanna, she refuses to use her powers or her brain manipulation. I can't explain it without giving spoilers. So it has actually caused her to go a little crazy. So the climactic end comes while also telling Winter's story, and I really, really enjoyed that. So then the last one was Stars Crossed or Stars Beneath. One of those two. The pictures here. But that is like 4.5. So it's a bunch of little short stories like Before Cinder, like Lynn Guerin. It tells all these different little short stories. I thought it was cute. I enjoyed it. So that was the entire Lunar Chronicles. However, that was also all the books that I read in the month of June. But technically, so that was Furyborn, Scarlet, Cress, Fairest, Winter, and Stars Beneath. So I technically read 6 books. So I shouldn't be so disappointed, but I feel disappointed because as far as my actual TBR, I could not read any of them because I'm trying not to spend all my money on books. And I'm like, I can just read them at the library, decide if I want them, and then, get them on Book Outlet or something when they finally get them on Book Outlet. But I'm annoyed. So this book actually just went and got off Amazon because I was literally tired of waiting. I am number 3 on the list to get this book, so I just said screw it. I am currently on page 34, I think. Yeah, 34, something like that. And the premise of this book that I was talking about last month, I'm reading it now, and I don't think that's it. It's like, okay, so it focuses around a girl whose boyfriend died. And so it's supposed to play out after that. I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to bring. I don't know what it's going to lead to, because the part that I'm on right now is still, to me, kind of more of an introductory thing to understand the characters, and I feel like it's setting me up for something really big. I just don't know what it is. So it's just like, okay, I'm a little concerned, but it is kind of a thriller, so I am anticipating a lot. I just don't want to get my hopes up too far. But yeah, so the first book that I'm reading for the month of July is Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessel, and I own it now. So, but I'm on page 34 already. I've already started reading it. The next book that finally arrived to the library, would actually arrive to the library like the 27th of June. So I just picked it up. It's The Bird and the Blade. That is by Megan Banning. It says 3 impossible riddles, 1 dangerous secret. This is the one where she has to choose between like the love of her life and like her family or something like that. I don't know, but I do know that I'm very happy. Sorry for the flashing. I'm very happy that the book is finally here. And I'm very glad that I was actually number 1 on this list, which kind of makes me feel like, was nobody interested in this book? But, it's cool. That's my next book. So I just decided to just kind of surf the library, and this was kind of sitting by itself. It is Dream Strider by Lindsay Smith. I'm not going to lie. I actually, to this moment, have no idea what this book is about. I picked it up because the cover is really, really pretty. And so we're going to learn about this together. It says, Livia has always dreamed bigger and brighter than most people. She's trained as a dream strider. She enters the dream world and through it slips into a sleeping person's body and dons their skin as her own. Oh. Livia's talents make her an invaluable spy for the Bartstead Empire, balanced precariously on the cusp of war. But even her extraordinary abilities can't erase her past as a member of the city's untouchable class, confined to its underground tunnels. When Livia and her partner Brant uncover a plot against the Empire that threatens both the dream and waking worlds, Livia may finally be able to prove herself and earn a new station in society. After all, their ally, the sharp-witted foreigner Merez, sees past the many disguises in Livia's life and encourages her to realize her potential. But in the dream world, the dark, long, dormant forces of nightmare are churning, and Livia is forced to question everything she has learned about herself and her gift. Now it's up to her to stop Nightmare, and perhaps in doing so realize the life and love of her dreams. Okay, so number 1, the fact that the villain's name is Nightmare, it gives me Rise of the Guardian vibes, or like the Boogeyman type thing. I'm trying to include a picture of him because I don't know if you guys watched that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, but so I got this book from the library because it looks pretty. And luckily, it might be a little interesting. The cover, I don't know. The cover is kind of weird, if I can explain it. It's a lot going on the cover. So that's literally why I picked it up. I've never heard anybody talk about this book or anything, but I'm very intrigued to see what happens. So the last book that I am planning to read for the month of July. Yes, I'm keeping it very short this month just because I don't want to disappoint myself again, pretty much. So the last book is Arabella and the Battle of Venus. The third book, which I don't know why I didn't think though, but the third book just came out or is about to come out. So I want to read this so I can get ready for the next one. From what I gather, this continues after the first book with her captain being captured on Venus by Napoleon Bonaparte, which, remember how I said this is like the just think of Napoleon, but instead of like France, he's on Venus. But yeah, apparently she's gonna go save him, I guess. I'm not really sure, but it is the book that I'm gonna be reading this month, so I will let you know how I feel about it. Let's see. That's actually all the books that I have to talk about today. Thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. What books are you reading for this month? Leave them down below. And again, till next time, guys. Bye.